Hey, we are live. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. So today I want to talk to you about getting out from under what I call organic overwhelm, which is, of course, the feeling like you are never able to unplug from your organic marketing. I want to talk to you about getting out from under that and into mastering your digital space. First of all, you have to think of your digital space, AKA social media, from a business and strategy perspective. Okay. So this means that in the same way that if you had a store, you wouldn't be constantly just restocking shelves all the time without paying attention to who was walking in the front door or whether the signage was working or whatever, right? You don't just focus on the busy work. And that's kind of what organic marketing can feel like. What you need to do instead is get ruthless about what pays, what doesn't pay, systemize what pays, what creates results, and get rid of what doesn't, or at least dial it back, way, way back. That's the secret. I'm going to go a little deeper for you here. And here's a quick hack for you. Speaking of systematizing and focusing, the reason that I pause at right about 1 minute or so into these live streams is because I'm going to have my assistant take this live stream, clip the first minute or so, and I pause so I can jot down the timestamp and also have it be a clear break in the action. She's going to clip it and then take just the tip, so to speak, and boost it from my page. She's going to take the abstract or the summary of what this whole live stream is about, condensed into a roughly 1 minute video, and boost it. Meanwhile, you who watch the whole live stream will get the deeper content, but I'm creating two pieces of content with one sweep. And then those two pieces of content can be turned into more and more content. Remember, I just said, take what does create results and systemize it. So we systemized taking one piece of content and using it multiple times in multiple ways. Does that make sense? So that's just one of the things that you need to understand. Now, let's talk a little bit first about what organic overwhelm is and feels like. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get out of it. I've given you the high level. This is what you have to do. Now let's talk about how. So first, organic overwhelm. Organic overwhelm, for those of you who have seen the movie Labyrinth, which by the way is chock full of priceless visual metaphors. If you've seen the movie Labyrinth, you may remember a time when our heroes were in a hallway and it looked like the hallway was a circular hallway. And this wall was coming towards them with all of these horrible gears and blades and things like that, just cranking away on it so that they couldn't do anything. They were just trapped. And then they found a door in the side of the hallway and they kicked it in just in time for this thing to pass. And on the other side of it was just two little gremlins riding a bicycle, driving the whole thing forward. So the metaphor there is, from one perspective, it looks overwhelming. From another perspective, you see that it's really not. And your organic marketing is the same way. Like, I know it's a cartoonish metaphor, but it really applies. So the first thing you have to do is understand that when it comes to you showing up, more is not always better. There's a point past which more becomes less good, because what it does is it diffuses the potency of whatever your brand position is. So instead, really get clear on what your brand position is. That means, what are your values that you stand for? What's the thing you have expertise at that you can help people with? And what is the proof? What is the proof that you can do what you say you can do? So your values, your expertise, and the proof that you can do what you say. Those are the things that you need to be just hammering over and over and over again. When I say that we get too diffuse sometimes, what I mean is you have to remember that everyone seeing your content is not inside your head. They see only what you show them. And you want to be in the business of reputation control, basically. You want to be spreading the right rumors about yourself. Thank you, Mitch Miller, through the content that you post. You want to be spreading the right rumors about yourself through the content that you post. You want to be controlling your reputation. Look, if your values are you're goofy, but you get results, you fly in the face of convention, and you whatever, that's what you need to be hammering, right? Every now and then you can go off on a tangent content-wise, but not very often. And in fact, it's actually better if you don't. Because remember, when we see you, you are telling us what to think about you. This is so important. You are reiterating to us over and over again what to think about you. And every time you deviate from whatever your bullseye is, you have then watered down our impression of you. Make sense? Or at least your brand position in our minds. So the first thing is you've got to understand that more content isn't always better. Many of us feel like we just have to keep pulling levers and pushing buttons and cranking cranks until somehow magically a client pops out. We don't really have a strategy for it. And if we have a strategy, it's superficial. It's maybe like a calendar for posting content. We haven't thought about what the content is. We haven't thought about the psychological ramifications of what we're posting. We haven't thought deeply about our audience, any of those things. For instance, can you tell me right now who your nightmare client is? Not your ideal client, but your nightmare client. I bet you can't. But it's super powerful. It's super important to know that, right? And if you go and look at your content calendar, if you even have one, you're probably not going to be able to see from your content calendar exactly who you're supposed to be talking to, trying to talk to, or who you don't want to talk to. But you should be able to see those things. So when your idea of exactly what you want to portray, and by the way, make it honest. It doesn't have to be pulling back the curtain on your whole life, but be honest. When you get to that, then you can post, 3 times a day. Now, I post more than that, but it's because I enjoy it. I like getting in on conversations. I like it, but I don't feel a sense of pressure to do it. And that's what I want to help you take away, is that sense of pressure. And we feel like if we're not constantly on and funny and engaging here, and we're over there talking, and we're on every, that we're not going to get clients. It's not necessarily the truth. If you really want to blow up, you've got to dial in that image. You got to dial in who you are. What's your brand and your brand position? You've got to dial those things in. So then when you do have those things dialed in, you then need to formulate an actual strategy. Once you have a strategy that is broken down into some kind of a schedule, the pressure is off. But you can't just throw a schedule together without a strategy, or what will happen is you'll be posting less, but you'll be no more focused. Does that make sense? I hope you're tracking this. This is important shit. If I'm being honest with you, this is like everything not everything, like a lot of the stuff I post, like I'm giving you the heart of the secret sauce. You know what I mean? There are, including this post right here, this live stream, I've done many live streams that you could take and make the center of your whole marketing philosophy, and it would change the game for you. But of course, the catch is you give something away for free and it's not valued, but that's okay. What I want you to understand is that to get out of that organic overwhelm, you have to really know. You got to do some deep work. You got to euphemistically or literally go out into the woods, go on a soul searching mission and get clear on who you are. Again, like I said earlier, what are your values? What is your expertise? And what is the proof that you can do what you say you can do? What are your values? What do you want me to think about you? What do you do? Not, okay, so those are two different things. What do you want me to think about you? What do you want me to know that you do? And where's the proof that you can do what you say? If you don't have those things, then you're stuck in that madhouse of just pulling gears and cranking wheels and stepping on pedals and hoping a client somehow pops out of this insane machine that you're in, where you feel like if you back away from it, even to go to sleep for the night, your momentum is dying down. It doesn't have to be like that. And you don't have to be having those times when it just feels like your social media performance is just lagging. Like you just don't know what the hell's going on with it. That's because you lack focus and clarity. With focus and clarity, you never run out of things to talk about. And I also said earlier, and I'll say this again, I'm going to hammer this. Stop talking about so many things. Now, this is a hard one, right? Because we judge our own content thinking that people get sick of hearing us talk about the same things. The pros at organic marketing, they only talk about the same things, right? You pick anybody who has succeeded with organic marketing in making you know what they're about, and you go look at their content, and 49 times out of 50, I'm going to say, you're going to see that they really just keep hammering what their expertise is. They talk about different parts of it. They talk about it in different ways, but it's just over and over and over again. And that's why you know exactly what they do. And here's what happens. Should you ever come to a point where you need to get better at or get help with exactly what they do, you think of them first. That's the game. And that's why you need to be focused and clear. That's why you need to understand and distill. What do you want us to think about you and know about you, values and personality wise? What's your expertise? Where's the proof? The ones who kill it get all three of these right all the time, or at least most of the time. This will pull you out of organic overwhelm. Then when you can answer those questions, you create calendars, you create systems. Then you get into more sophisticated tracking. Then you get into things like, using hashtags in your messenger messages so that you can instantly recall people and things like that. But let's first make it so that everyone knows exactly what you do. Everyone knows exactly what your values are so they can figure out if they want to work with you or not in the first place. And then everyone sees proof of what you do. I hope that makes sense for you. All right. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.